How do you sort out the so-called jargon from real-world practices that work? Do the members of your organization find some business or technology advice utterly confusing? Welcome to Real Talk with Sam Holcman. In this program, we set the record straight, and in terms that business people and technology people can understand. Now, here is your host, Sam Holcman.
Welcome to this edition of Real Talk. I'm Sam Holcman. Thanks for joining me today. And the topic for this particular broadcast is what problem or opportunity is AI, artificial intelligence, actually trying to solve or address? I know that may sound silly, but as we all know, the hype around AI has reached an incredible fever pitch. It's almost to the point where people are getting hallucinations. How do you like that? Billions of dollars are being poured into AI startups. Businesses and enterprise are trying to figure out how AI works in their organizations and within their workflows. Of course, technology leaders are under pressure to use AI because everybody else is using it. Yet, amid all of this, there's one question that a lot of organizations, it turns out, in the survey we just completed, remains unanswered. What is the problem or opportunity that AI is actually trying to address or to solve? When asked this question to a number of our clients and stakeholders, we were a little surprised to find they were struggling to articulate a real clear answer, which is kind of scary. The most common, sorry to laugh here, this is not funny, but these answers are kind of scary. The most common answer is we're still exploring the best uses or use cases for AI. Are you kidding me? You're spending all this money trying to figure out what's going on? Well, let's look at it again. The industry is spending billions of dollars and investing billions of dollars before identifying exactly what problem or opportunity is there. I want to make it clear. I'm not suggesting that AI lacks any value. All things have some value, but they possibly succumb to the hype cycle, and maybe that's there. So once we look at it and start asking the questions beyond the cosmetics, I have to keep up with the Joneses or whoever the organization is, or, of course, organizations have FOMO, fear of missing out. We find out that one of the things that people are trying to address, which is kind of crazy, is the amount of data coming into the organization, the overwhelming volumes of data coming into the organization, and trying to do something with it. Okay? Well, there's a catch. Because of all of this data coming in, what you need is a data architecture or data governance activity before these things come in. Now, they're coming in right now. So why don't we get started tomorrow and figure out how to bring this data in a managed manner and build an architecture, a table of contents, a library that can actually be used. But the hype, I understand. Another thing that was mentioned in our discussions with our stakeholders is they're looking at this as a way to address decision-making with all of these complex variables that are there. All right, it sounds like a great thing. You know what I'm going to say at this point. However, or but, guess what? Those decisions and the complexity of those decisions depend on the quality of, data. Here we go again. Is there a common theme I'm mentioning here? Yes. Okay. Third thing. Better searching. Better searching. Whatever that means. It was hard for me to really come to grips with that with some of our stakeholders. They're looking for enhanced search engines. And I've said numerous times in our broadcast, we don't have a search engine right now. What people call search engines are really not search engines. They're popularity contest engines. And maybe that theme is catching on in the industry right now. And this is what is being said. We need a search engine, not a better search engine, but an actual search engine. And so people are looking at it and saying, well, maybe AI can help me do that. And maybe it will. Not really sure. Okay. So what we're going to suggest is the following. And these suggestions will be there in just a minute. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a minute.
Do you feel lost when you leave an enterprise or business architecture certification class? Are you overwhelmed by the 900-page manuals of techniques, models, and approaches that do not provide you with a clear path? Do you find that your class was actually designed to help you pass an exam rather than actually developing architecture? If you answered yes to one or more of these questions, then you might be a long-time sufferer of certification examitis, and you're not alone. In our over 40 years of experience, the Enterprise Architecture Center of Excellence, or EACOE, and the Business Architecture Center of Excellence, or BACOE, have found that over 75,000 people answer yes to these questions. But with proper architecture producing certification and training, combined with a proven methodology and framework, we can help you do better. Take your skills to the next level, and together we can work to improve the effectiveness of your organization, ensuring your goals are actually met through a partnership with or training from the EACOE or the BACOE. To find out how, visit EACOE.org or BACOE.org for more information.
Welcome back. Well, that little 1-minute interlude may have said it all. The problem is architecture. And just because you passed a multiple guess exam, as I like to say, okay, I'll stop using that and say multiple choice exam. Well, maybe multiple guess exam is the issue. But let's forget about that for just a moment. If you're going to do AI, invest hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, or billions of dollars, why don't we start off with a few questions? How about question number 1? What specific, not generalized hype question, what specific problem or opportunity are we trying to address? And please don't say, well, everybody's doing it, so there must be a good reason for it. What specific problem or opportunity are we trying to address or solve with AI? Number 2, when we look at things, this is becoming more and more important, especially today in this reduce the number of people mentality that seems to be taking hold in a lot of organizations. There's a sequence that we need to go through before we start chopping people out. And the sequence is as follows. The process comes first, which is enabled by technology, which is used by people. Getting rid of the people doesn't mean that anything has happened other than getting rid of the people. The process and the technology are the issue that are used by people. So getting rid of people isn't really going to help very much. Oh, it'll temporarily reduce cost. But as we're seeing in some of these mass hysteria removal of people situations that are going on, people are called back right away because the fundamental issue is the process, which has been enabled by the technology, which is used by the people. So if you don't look at the root cause is the process, and do process understanding, you're not going to get anywhere. And of course, once you're looking at that, you got to look at the fuel in the information age, which is the data. And we've talked extensively about the types of data out there and why internet data is so dangerous and so poor, and is just, let's call it what it is, data sludge. And then the last question is, with all of this, quote, hallucinations going on, which I like to call a much more accurate name, not hallucinations, but fabrications, How are we going to govern AI? How are we going to address this thing to be able to actually help our stakeholders through the use of AI? So right now, unfortunately, yes, hype is outpacing AI actual benefits. And I know there's articles out there saying, hey, this is great, this is great, this is great, this is great. However, there's as many articles out there saying, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I want to leave you with this. To us, artificial intelligence is another enabler for your business or enterprise strategy. It's another enabler. It's not magic. It won't solve the ills of your data activities or your process activities. It won't. So it's an enabler. If you want it to be an enabler of your enterprise or business strategy, you have to recognize the two things that fundamentally have been going on for decades. You're processing data. Processing data. What do you need? Good data and good processes. So, AI isn't a problem out there right now. However, to you and others, perhaps not knowing how to use AI is really the problem. I hope this helps.
Thank you for tuning in to Real Talk. Be sure to join your host, Sam Holcman, again for another edition of our program. We'll have more real topics of discussion then.